What is going on, guys? We are back for another episode of Pokemon Top 5s. This week we'll be covering my top 5 Mega Evolutions. And of course, as always, guys, this list is 100% opinionated. This list is going to be a little bit different because it's not my favorite Pokemon with Mega Evolutions. It's the Mega Evolution itself. And so there are some Pokemon that you've seen on other lists and others that you haven't seen at all. And that's just because I just like the Pokemon as its Mega form more, or I like what they did with it, different things, right? So of course this list is 100% opinionated, and if you have a different top 5 list than me, make sure to leave it in the comment section down below, and I look forward to reading those. But without further ado, let us hop in to number 5. Okay, so at number 5 we have Mega BEEDRILL. Now Mega BEEDRILLs are super territorial, and its Mega form is just as much so, but it gets so much more scarier. Adaptability gives this thing ×2 on its stab moves instead of 1.5, and it gains the ability to get 150 base attack stat and a 145 base speed stat. This thing turns into one of the most offensive threatening Pokemon in the entire game. And if you guys saw our Pokemon Insurgents Let's Play, we had to fight a Mega BEEDRILL and we almost got absolutely crushed. And so this is actually the highest attack and speed stat of any poison type period in the game right now. And it also just happens to have the lowest special attack. So what they did was, what Mega Evolution typically does is add 100 points to their stat total. And some Pokemon, they even have it removed from other things, and so they get larger boosts by taking away points as well. And so that's what happened to BEEDRILL. BEEDRILL became this ultimate glass cannon that was able to hit like an absolute truck and outspeed everybody. When they changed it from speed stat not working the first turn, it really did change, because BEEDRILL was able to just now have U-turn instead of protect on the first turn, get the speed boost, and have that 150 attack stat to just blow everything away. And so for me, BEEDRILL ends up getting such a better design out of this as well. Regular BEEDRILL to Mega BEEDRILL, I would take Mega BEEDRILL every day of the week. That design is absolutely sick. Now there's still, and it becomes like a big giant bee too, like it's crazy. But without further ado, that is number 5, so let us hop into number 4. Okay, so at number 4 we have BANETTE and Mega BANETTE. Now Mega BANETTE, again, is another Pokemon that just gained a ton of attack stat. And the ability Prankster, which of course is always such a useful move for setup moves and whatnot. This thing, of course, is based off of a voodoo doll, and so one of its signature moves is Curse and Destiny Bond. And so the ability to have Prankster versions of both of those lets it take out some Pokemon that maybe weren't expecting it. And then just the 165 attack stat is unreal. The physical power of this ghost type, and there aren't that many physical ghost types, and so really just allowing this to have a really strong niche in Pokemon, and I think that's really what you're looking for, right? And of course BANETTE, the zipper comes undone, its true evil spirit comes out. Really it's just trying to get back the person that threw it away, but this Pokemon is extremely powerful. The one thing that's kind of weird about it, and you'll see it maybe in its Pokemon, like a good trainer can actually like nullify its grudge, and then it turns back into a stuffed toy. So you know how bad that would be? You train your whole life with this BANETTE, and you're like, oh yeah, like me and this BANETTE, that's my ace. But you can't have it trust you enough that it loses the grudge, and then you just lose a Pokemon out of it. So a little bit of a weird backstory. Of course, ghost types have the most interesting backstories. I think I've said this in multiple top 5s. But, that is why I love BANETTE. The design is absolutely sick. I really like it. But without further ado, let us hop into number 3. Okay, so at number 3, we have the ace of Team Magma. We have CAMERUPT. Now, CAMERUPT, I actually like this design a lot better. It looks a little bit more like a yak. the skirt on the bottom of its legs, right? The M on its forehead now stamped in forever to be known as the ace of Team Magma and Maxi himself. And on top of that, the design that they did with this, the two lumps now turn into one active volcano on it, and that is such a cool design. Honestly, one of the coolest designs in all of Pokemon, in my opinion. The color scheme is super sick. They added black to it, obviously. You know, the live magma in there, like, it just adds that level of strength to it. Obviously, it gets a 145 attack stat now, and it's also tied to be one of the slowest Pokemon in the entire game. It's definitely tied to the slowest fire type, and so it's actually tied with Torkoal. And so if you guys know anything about Trick Room at all, the ability to be one of the naturally slowest Pokemon and run Trick Room means that when you're in Trick Room, you are one of the fastest and hardest hitting Pokemon around. And of course, Eruption was this thing's calling card in the ORAS kind of metagame for sure, and definitely continued on into past generations. So Torkoal, obviously super cool design. Torkoal, Camerupt, one of the coolest designs, of course. You know, I kind of wish that like the M on it does it kind of, I wish they didn't have the M. That's the only thing. I understand that it was because Team Magma and Maxi, but I think without the M, this would have been absolutely perfect, because now it's like, it feels like anyone who doesn't have like an M, I mean, I guess you could sit there and say it's Mega too, but like, no other Pokemon has an M stamped on it, and that's the only real thing that's kind of sucky about the design. But everything else I absolutely love. I like that design better. The live magma is super sick, and of course the move pool is crazy. Sheer Force also just adds to the damage. So 145, but you go for like a Heat Wave, and that does extra damage. Flamethrower, extra damage. Overheat does a ton, right? What's the other one? Oh, Fire Blast. Fire Blast would be the big one, where you get that sheer force boosted on it. And yeah, absolutely crazy. But without further ado, let us hop into number 2. Okay, so number 2, we have Medicham, and Mega Medicham is one of my favorite design fighting types. For some reason, I was never a fan of regular Medicham, but Mega Medicham completely changes the game for me. One of the coolest looking Pokemon, the Buddha himself, you know, the guru of Pokemon now, the Gandhi, the whatever you want to go for, the avatar of, you know, whatever you want to say. Pure power as well, boosting that 100 attack stat. And 100 speed stats, so it does gain a little bit of strength. Its headpiece now resembles a white turban, you know, instead of kind of being whatever that hat is that it has on it, but I don't know what it's called. But and it also forms 4 ghost-like arms, which I thought for the longest time was just extra string on its turban that it just uses its psychic powers to control. It's actually just ghost-like arms that it just has. The more trained the spirit, the more realistic and dexterous its self-created arms become, and so it's actually able to basically have 6 arms and 2 legs to fight with, on top of being a psychic fighting type, which is just unreal. The design is crazy. I love this design so much. You know, you get the turban, you get the pants that are seen kind of in a lot of Arabian, you know, animes and stuff. I just love it. It reminds me so much of the show Aladdin. I don't know if you guys have watched that, but that's kind of what it reminds me of. But without further ado, let us hop into our number 1 slot on this week's top 5 megas. And number 1, we have ABSOL. Now, ABSOL is it literally is my favorite design of all the megas. You know, everyone in the game, the lore about ABSOL is really all based around the fact that, you know, elderly people really hated ABSOL because it always showed up right before a disaster. Now, it was trying to warn them. It wasn't trying to, it wasn't the bringer of destruction like everyone in the lore thinks that it is. It was actually trying to warn people. And so now by giving it wings, I really like that turnaround story, that it's now strong enough that it can say, hey, I'm an angel. I'm not the bringer of death. You know, I'm not Lucifer or whatever you wanted to go with. You know, I really like that. It also gives it a little bit more of a resemblance to the Greek sphinxes that it was kind of always based around. And so I really liked how they added that in. And it now also looks a lot like in Assyrian culture, there's a creature named Lamassu, and Lamassu had like a human head with wings and the body of a lion, and it was a very protective spirit, just like ABSOL attempts to warn people of danger. And so I really like that. And another really interesting thing about ABSOL in particular, it gains aura. Like, it can now sense aura like Lucario or other Pokemon like that. And it's actually so strong that if you are a faint-hearted person, you can die from shock just from being in the presence of an ABSOL. And that is so crazy that its aura is so strong. It literally feels like you're fighting like a Super Saiyan, you know what I mean? When you come out, and it hones that ability into its wings and pushes it at people. That's why you see moves like Aura Sphere and stuff like that now show up on ABSOL. Magic Bounce, it stops entry hazards from coming at you. It stops the aura itself, just repels it back. And that's such a cool little niche thing. They made the ability match the nature of the Pokemon and the aura of the Pokemon. But this Pokemon actually hates fighting in this form. And so it already dislikes fighting in the first place. And so to have a Mega Absol, to have the respect of that Pokemon, that it will Mega Evolve for you, even though it doesn't really like to fight in that form, is just a testament to how much it likes you. And that is, to me, one of the biggest criteria that I have for my favorite Pokemon. But yeah, that is our list this week for our top 5 Mega Evolution designs. It is kind of a combination of if I like using the Pokemon, its stats, its abilities, its design. But for me, my top 5 Megas never really matched my top 5 Pokemon. And so I'm glad that I got to share it with you guys. I hope I get to see your guys' top 5 Megas in the comment section down below. But with that, I'm going to get up out of here. So thanks everyone for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.